here with a very reasonable hand that we are happy to keep. Obviously, early discard spell would be a hassle, but certainly not mulliganing this one. Don't know why this is down here. Spirit Wraith gets cycled, so either Hollow One, Grixis Death Shadow, a Traverse Death Shadow deck would be my baseline expectations. I guess Living End, a real possibility as well. I think my initial assumption is usually just, I want to say Hollow One. I guess after Wooded Foothills, that's more likely as well, but yeah. Still could be, yeah, could have been a different deck, but makes sense that that's the follow-up. I think we're going to run out this Hierarch off of our basic forest and see where we can follow up from there. Next turn we'll probably play Verdant Catacombs, and I think I will not crack it. And then I'll play Blighted Agent. It's possible I get in like sort of a weird predicament, but I don't necessarily want to shock if I don't have to. Well, we lost our Blighted Agent. And our Vines. That was really, really rough for us. We gained Infectors at least, but now have very little protection, only in the way of Spell Pierce. And next turn Spell Piercing a Bolt is not very realistic. Though it's possible we get to Spell Pierce. I mean, I guess I could just play Spellskite. I was going to say it's possible to get Spell Pierce a Bolt if they fire it off end of turn. Looks like they're getting a Bloodghast in play here. Oh man, and an Angler. It's not bad for our opponent. That is not bad at all. Blossoming Defense is nice. We've got to figure out a way to get more damage through quicker, though, and I just don't really have the pump spells to be able to do that. Especially considering I'm likely going to need to get there with this Ink Moth, unfortunately. Though if I play the Glistener, maybe that leaves one of these back at home, which is good for us. So Ink Moth, Spellskite, Glistener. Realistically, this means I only have 2 mana to work with as far as actual pumping is concerned. If I'm attacking with the Ink Moth Nexus, maybe I have enough chump blockers that I could get there across 2 turns, but the start from our opponent looks troublesome for us. I'm not sure what they're thinking about following up with here. If they have another enabler, we'll be very sad not to be able to Spell Pierce it, but at this point we can't really beat much, so I think we can't really afford to be holding up that Spell Pierce instead of committing more to the table. I also think I have to block this Bloodghast. Yikes. Yeah, I'm gonna block here and not anywhere else. If they have a Bolt, sure, they get to finish off my Spellskite, but that's fine. I mean, if they have 2 bolts, I guess that's annoying, but I still kind of assumed we were going to have to get there with the Ink Moth anyway. They're letting me untap, so they probably don't have it. Attacking with both obviously gains me nothing, and I don't have the pump spells to get there with just the Glistener. We obviously only have 6 damage. So I probably just attack for 2. Block with this. Go to 1? No, because then I can't use this. This is gonna be rough. What are my outs here? I'm also just like gonna have to. I probably have to use all of my mana this turn again, right? But I need the Noble Hierarch back to block. Can I afford to block? If I get in for 2 this turn, 2, 4. Then any pump spell that is 3 or greater will be sufficient. If I have the Hierarch, or am I not counting Hierarch? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, without counting the Hierarch. Counting the Hierarch, if I keep the Hierarch around, mutagenic growth is lethal too, but I don't think that's going to be possible. So I think I need to fetch for forest. So I need every life point I can get. Animate Ink Moth. Mutagenic growth it for mana? No. I guess I do have another, but I only have one more basic forest. I guess I could get Dryad Arbor to chump. That would be better. Okay. That's a lot better, because then I have basic forest off of this. Okay, okay. So let's do this. Gosh, I want to leave these up so bad, but it feels like I might need to tap my Noble Hierarch here to actually use my mana, right? So if I'm losing this, then I effectively have 2 mana to pump with next turn. So I need to have used one of these unless I'm willing to pay life for this. I guess that would have me going to 1 if I'm willing to pay life for this. And then I get to potentially Spell Pierce something on their turn. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I definitely like using the Dryad Arbor to chump here alongside the Glistener Elf. I don't know if I'm supposed to tap my Noble Hierarch there to pay for mutagenic growth. I guess you'd pay for the Blossoming Defense. If I'm not playing around anything, you'd pay for the Blossoming Defense, and then if they had Bolt, you get to growth it. And still stay on plan. So, yeah. Maybe that's correct. I'm going to have no trouble casting Become Immense, so that's not really a consideration. It's definitely going to be 1 mana. It's, I guess, Vines, right? Now I'm not outed to Vines. So I think I was probably supposed to do that. Yeah. Because now I can't draw Vines and still win. 4. Or, yeah, actually, no, I can because I'm keeping the Hierarch. 2, 4, 6, 10. Yeah, I can because I'm still keeping the Hierarch. And I'll still have exactly enough mana. And the mutagenic growth will still save it from a lightning bolt. So yeah, I actually don't hate our spot right now. Okay, so I think that has to get Spell Pierce. If they have a bolt, they're gonna kill me with it most likely now. But maybe that doesn't have to get Spell Pierced. Maybe like Burning Inquiry definitely has to get Spell Pierced, and I think that's where my head was going. But this doesn't need to get Spell Pierced. I think I reacted too quickly. Yeah, I think this can just resolve. For some reason, I was thinking like Burning Inquiry again, which I certainly can't have happen. But Goblin Lore was fine. I should have just let that resolve. So I think that was a mistake. Yeah, I think I'm fine with having played the last turn the way we did. I think I like that line the best still. However, spell piercing, that is not necessary. I think that's supposed to just resolve. Bloodghasts can get a little awkward off of it. Flamewake Phoenix. So it's close. It's not like definitely that should resolve, but I don't know. Man, now I'm kind of going back the other direction. Now I'm doubting my original assessment. Maybe it did need to get spell pierced. It is close. It is close. Because I'm really playing with my life total here, right? Like we're kind of planning on going to 1. Grab that Dryad Arbor. Go to blocks. Block. Oh no. Well, that's not good at all. That's not good enough, right? 2, 4, 6. It is good enough, okay. But obviously I'm dead to lightning bolt at my dome. Stupid fetch land. If it wasn't fetch land, I could probably get them to bolt this in response if they had it. But because it's a fetch land, there's no incentive. All right, so we got to get our basic. And then we get bolted if they have it. Okay, sweet. I guess not. All right. Could not have been closer. We used every card, every spare life point. Yeah, that was a sweet game. Okay. Probably want these. This is okay, but might be a little much. I do kind of like Pierce, but it is a lot worse on the draw. So let's play a pile of things we would consider, I guess. Vaguely consider this. These are just not what the matchup is about. And I guess you vaguely considered this, but these are really just for Chalice, I guess. You can bring them, obviously, against like Affinity and Lantern and all that other good stuff, too. But if I really wanted Artifact Hate, I wouldn't want to bring very much, and it would just be Claim. So I guess we're not even really vaguely considering that. Let's see here. For some reason, I thought we had a Dismemberer in the main of this list, but I guess not. Yeah, I guess I'm just used to that. Okay. Stuff I do not like. Probably Spellskite. It's okay, but my opponent's not that heavy on interaction. They're certainly going to go up post board. Distortion Strike is a little bit weird here. I mean, this is a fine matchup for it, but Apostle's Blessing. Probably too many different colored blockers. Distortion Strike's probably just better than this, considering that I think they're low interaction. And again, Spell Pierces, I certainly want all 3 on the play. But I wonder if I even want any on the draw. I wonder if I'm supposed to just, like, ignore those. I think pretty much all my pump stuff I'm still interested in, though I am citing 2 relics, so it's possible I want to shave on these, 1 or 2. I'm considering citing 2 relics, I should say. And if I'm forced to pop those for whatever reason, they get a lot worse there. I think those are really the ones I would consider cutting here. I don't think this is a matchup where I want to cut growth. Okay. Let's stick with just 2 Pierce on the draw and bring the 3rd one on the play if we need it. Relics, Dismember, Cage for Become Immense, Spellskite, Blessing. Let's try that. Dismember might not be correct. As much as my opponent is often putting like 1 large threat into play, they're also frequently going wide, right? With things like Bloodghast and Flameblade Adept, or excuse me, Flamewake Phoenix. Keep. This hand is a little weird. Like, there's a Flameblade Adept. Okay, drawing the other land makes me feel a lot better and opens up my options this turn quite a bit, I think. Staying on top of the relic is nice. I feel like I probably still just need to lead on Noble Hierarch, especially because I have the cage also. Yeah, especially since I have the cage also. I don't have to worry about staying 2 on top of this relic. These Flameblade Adepts do often hit pretty hard, though. Not that I had a way to deal with it at the moment, but leaving up Spell Pierce helps in that regard if we really wanted to go for that line. Ooh, looks like this Flameblade Adept will not be hitting hard. Okay. All right, well, I definitely want to be leaving up Pierce now. Since, you know, they'll just murder me. This is tough because I want to go Cage Elf, leave up Pierce / defense, but if they have like looting and I pierce it and then they bolt my Glistener Elf, that's my only Infector right now. I could be really conservative and hold back this Glistener Elf for a little while until I feel like I can play it out with a little more protection, but I don't really feel like this is a matchup where I can dirtle for too long, and they're not heavy on interaction in general, so I think I'm just going to play that. I mean, I could play that in Relic, I guess, and hold up Pierce, but definitely taking a little bit of a gamble here. Also, there's the argument for like fetch Forest ahead of time, leave up Noble Hierarch. I just don't want to get in a weird situation where my Noble Hierarch starts getting targeted with stuff. I guess that wouldn't really be a big deal. It'd be kind of the same thing. Oh no, Street Wraiths. That's not interactable for me at the moment. Can't do anything about that growing Flameblade Adepts. Hopefully they don't fire off a chain of these. All right, well, so much for that desire. Looks like we're going to be taking at least 9, unfortunately. Every Street Wraith is a lava spike here. Just like land looting or inquiry now. Gosh. That's insane. Yeah, this is a turn. I mean, we're actually just dead. I guess I have Dryad Arbor again, so I'm not literally dead, but kind of am. Pretty absurd. All right. Oh, I have a Gravedigger's Cage. I'm a fool. All right. Fair enough. I mean, it's not like that was my plan originally, to be fair, but yeah. It's not I don't think I'm winning that game regardless, if I'm being perfectly honest. But still goofy. All right. Definitely need this other spell pierce. Now that we're back on the play. Thinking about cutting this Distortion Strike, or a Pump Spell, or even this Dismember on the play. I might cut this Dismember on the play. Just have that not be what we're about. Kind of makes me want to have that Apostle's Blessing in, though. All right, we'll keep. I think I need to fetch Breeding Pool on turn 1 and cast a Glistener Elf. This hand is definitely worse than my previous hands, but it's not a mulligan. Sure. I'm fairly certain I'm just going to cast these out again. Might be a little different if I had a different, like, if my mana sources were different, but whoops. There we are. But as is, I think, with the Ink Mob Nexus, I don't really care if this Glistener Elf just dies again. Especially since I don't have another land. Yep, I guess this just happens. Sure. I would say this hand is probably comparable, maybe slightly better. Losing the Become Immense is certainly a bummer. Obviously, Spell Pierce for a Spell Pierce. It's nice to hit an additional land, and we still have any pump spell at all here, but land being another Ink Moth is kind of a clunker one. We'll see what happens. When it gets back at Bloodghast, doesn't toss anything else of interest. Does have another Lightning Bolt. Yep. Vines. Okay, so let's just do this. Kind of want to use this relic a little more. See which one says newly controlled. This one, so we'll make a mana. This one is not. We'll animate it. I mean, I'm just going to go for potentially having lethal next turn rather than leaving up relic and pierce. The problem is I kind of need my opponent to, like, tap out again, and I need to draw a green source for that to be the case. Or a different, I guess another might would be the other out. Green source or might. Or Become Immense, the one other. But I really would need my opponent to tap out, I think, to go for it, unfortunately. Looting, but maybe not. I mean, maybe I assume they just have bolts as interaction, and that it would be difficult for them to have another one, even though they are looking at a lot of cards. We'll see. Explosives for 0. That's not going to work. I wonder if they know that and they're trying to throw me off. Or if they don't realize that. Groundswell, unfortunately, does not do it. If they did pop there, I think I would groundswell. And I don't think I pop this relic on their upkeep. Look, if they spend their whole turn casting Faithless Looting, we're super happy about that, so. Contemplating spell piercing this, since I'm choked on mana anyway, and if they tapped out, that would be great. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That way I'd feel more comfortable if I drew a second green source, just going all in on the binds. Sweet. I guess if we drew second green source, we would just groundswell and have vines for protection. So that's not really relevant, I suppose, but drew another vines. That's a bummer. Maybe that means I'm supposed to... Okay, so maybe I played that wrong. Maybe I'm not supposed to spell pierce that so I can leave up cracking this to try to hit the land to actually just almost certainly kill them unless they have bolt. Bolts 3 and 4. Okay, so that might have been a mistake. Again, I think I'm okay with them using their whole turn to looting or delve for an angler or anything like that. But I'm already saying I want to pop this anyway. Maybe I will pop this now. And again, I probably should have done it last turn. Might have old Crosa. Just need a green source. Looting number 4? 3. Okay. I mean, I guess I get punished if they have that into, yeah, additional Bloodghasts. They don't have a land in hand, and they pitched a land. Or they're waiting to put it in play, I guess. Which is definitely possible. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was at 11, so it's not like it was going to have haste at the time. Oh. No, Dryad Arbor is so relevant all 3 games. I mean, not really the second game, but it was funny. First game, it was relevant in a great way. This game, not so sure. Do I play around another Lightning Bolt? I guess no, right? Because Lightning Bolt kills me anyway. I mean, I have the Dryad Arbor to block now, so it doesn't really, but I have a second Inkmoth Nexus, right? I guess the problem is that I wouldn't have the mana. No, I guess I wouldn't block with Dryad Arbor. So I would still have the mana to kill them next turn. I guess that probably means I go for it here. I mean, my opponent's behavior could change my plans. This is a very strange pause. I don't know if they could potentially be doing something else or really trying to sell me on some kind of bluff, but this length of pause is kind of strange for a bluff. Again, it could be something completely unrelated to Magic since we are playing Magic Online, but so I don't want to read too much into it. I still think it makes sense for me to go for it because of the second Ink Moth. Except for that I get punished if they also kill my Dryad Arbor. But if they also kill my Dryad Arbor, then they had another way to kill my Ink Moth, so it doesn't matter, right? It literally doesn't. I can't think of a reason it matters for me to use one or the other of these. With their current Infect count, I'll just Groundswell, I guess. Like, even if, yeah, if my Dryad Arbor dies, like, they were going to draw another bolt to just kill me, right? So. Maybe that pause was them checking on this EE thing after I played Dryad Arbor. I feel like that could be. Maybe they were like, wait, why would they play this Dryad Arbor into my EE on 0? And then they were like, wait a second, maybe that doesn't work. And then they went to go figure it out. I mean, it says non-land, so. That, of course, for anyone who might be a little unfamiliar with the interaction, that, of course, is why it won't work. These might be creatures, but they are also lands. And EE does not, thankfully, does not blow up lands. It's not 2-mana Armageddon. Don't think we need that in Magic. Okay, well, unless they have Fatal Push. Dismember? Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't do it. All right. Weird match. Game 1 was super sweet. Game 2, we just got smooshed, and this game was interesting. Interesting. Either way, I will see you in the next round in just a moment.